After the age of 70, life quietly changes its meaning. It is no longer measured only by the number of birthdays left on the calendar. It is measured by something deeper, something far more honest. After 70, life becomes a question of strength, the strength of your body to keep moving, the strength of your mind to remain clear, and the strength of your spirit to keep choosing calm over fear. Many people are afraid of aging. They fear becoming weak. They fear losing independence. They fear that old age is a slow, unavoidable decline, something random, uncontrollable, and cruel. But what if that fear is not entirely true? What if living long after 70 is not a matter of luck, but a pattern that science has quietly been observing for years? Modern medical research has begun to reveal something remarkable. Longevity after 70 is not random. It is not decided only by genetics and not written entirely by fate. Doctors, geriatric specialists, and long-term studies across the world have discovered that people who live longer and live better often share clear, observable signs. These signs appear quietly long before illness or decline. They show up in daily habits, simple movements, and subtle behaviors that most people overlook. And here is the surprising part. Many of these signs are visible right now in you or in the people you love. Science no longer asks only, "How old are you?" It asks a far more important question. How well is your body adapting to age? Because after 70, survival is not about fighting time. It is about how well your body, mind, and spirit cooperate with it. Some people reach 70 and slowly fade, not because they are old, but because their systems stop communicating well with each other. Others reach 80, 90, even beyond, still walking steadily, thinking clearly, and living with quiet dignity. What separates them? It is not wealth. It is not status. It is not constant medical treatment. It is something far simpler and far more powerful. Over decades, large-scale studies have tracked elderly individuals across different cultures, lifestyles, and economic backgrounds. Again and again, the same conclusion emerges: longevity after 70 follows patterns. Patterns in movement, patterns in thinking, patterns in emotional resilience, patterns in how the body responds to stress, both physical and mental. These patterns form predictive signs, subtle signals that quietly reveal how long and how well a person may live. And yet, most people never hear about them because they are not dramatic. They are not marketed. They do not come in bottles or pills. They show themselves in everyday life. Today, we will explore 7 scientifically proven signs that help predict longevity after 70. Not theories, not opinions, but findings supported by years of research in gerontology, neurology, cardiovascular health, and behavioral science. These signs do not require medical equipment to notice. You can observe them in yourself. You can see them in how you move, how you react, how you live your ordinary days. Some of these signs may comfort you, others may quietly challenge you, but all of them offer something rare: clarity. Because when you understand what truly predicts long life, fear begins to loosen its grip. Aging stops feeling like a dark tunnel and starts feeling like a path you can still walk with awareness. This is not about chasing immortality. It is about protecting quality of life, the ability to stand up without fear, to walk without hesitation, to think without confusion, and to wake up each day with a sense of calm rather than dread. If you are in your 60s, this knowledge prepares you. If you are in your 70s or beyond, this knowledge empowers you. And if you care for someone who is aging, it helps you see them more clearly, not as fragile, but as adaptive. As we begin, remember this: after 70, the body speaks more honestly than ever before. It tells its story not through words, but through function. And the first sign it reveals, the one doctors often notice before anything else, is not found in blood tests or scans. It is found in something simple, something almost everyone does every day, something so ordinary that most people never realize it is quietly predicting their future. It is how you walk. If this reflection resonates with you, consider subscribing to Golden Leaf Path, a quiet space where science, wisdom, and lived experience come together to help you walk the later years of life with clarity and calm. Now let us take the first step together. Sign 1. Walking speed tells your life expectancy. Among all the things doctors observe in older adults, there is one sign so simple that it often goes unnoticed. Yet science has found it to be one of the most powerful predictors of how long a person may live after 70. It is not hidden in complex machines. It does not require expensive tests. It reveals itself quietly every time you stand up and take a few steps forward. Your walking speed. Over the past several decades, researchers studying aging populations around the world have discovered something unexpected. The speed at which an elderly person walks can predict survival more accurately than many traditional medical measurements. More accurate than blood pressure alone, more revealing than cholesterol numbers, more telling than age written on a chart. Why? Because walking is not a single action. It is a full-body conversation. When you walk, your heart must pump efficiently. Your lungs must supply oxygen smoothly. Your muscles must coordinate strength and balance. Your brain must process timing, posture, and spatial awareness all at once. A steady, confident walk signals that these systems are still communicating well with each other. Doctors often notice this instinctively. An older person who walks into a room with calm steps, upright posture, and steady rhythm immediately appears more resilient even before a word is spoken. And science confirms this observation. Studies show that elderly individuals who maintain a consistent walking pace tend to live longer and experience fewer severe health events. Not because walking fast is magical, but because the ability to walk steadily reflects internal strength. A person who walks with ease usually has better cardiovascular health. Their heart adapts efficiently to movement. Their blood vessels respond smoothly to changes in demand. They also tend to have stronger leg muscles, essential for preventing falls, maintaining independence, and protecting joints. But perhaps most importantly, walking speed reflects the health of the nervous system. Every step requires precise communication between the brain and the body. When that communication weakens, hesitation appears. Steps become shorter, movements become cautious. Fear quietly enters the body. This is why walking speed predicts survival so well. It measures function, not just structure. It shows how well the body performs in real life, not just how it looks on paper. But here is something crucial to understand. This sign is not about walking fast. It is not about rushing. It is not about competition. It is not about keeping up with younger people. It is about walking without fear, without imbalance, without constant hesitation, without the body bracing itself for every step. Many older adults slow down not because their bodies are incapable, but because their confidence has quietly eroded. They fear falling. They fear pain. They fear losing control. And fear changes movement long before disease does. When fear enters the body, muscles tense unnecessarily. Posture collapses slightly. Breathing becomes shallow. Steps lose rhythm. Over time, the body adapts to this guarded movement and weakness follows. This is why gentle daily walking is one of the most powerful habits after 70, not aggressive exercise, not exhaustion, but consistent calm movement. A slow walk taken every day sends a message to the body: I am still capable. I am still balanced. I am still present. Walking encourages circulation. It preserves muscle memory. It keeps joints lubricated. It maintains coordination between the mind and the body. Even short walks matter. 5 minutes around the house, 10 minutes in the morning sun, a quiet walk after meals. What matters most is regularity, not intensity. Balance exercises quietly support this sign as well. Simple movements like standing on one foot while holding a chair or gently shifting weight from side to side strengthen the body's sense of stability. These exercises train the nervous system to trust itself again. And just as important as movement is avoiding long periods of stillness. Extended sitting weakens muscles, stiffens joints, and dulls circulation. The body becomes accustomed to inactivity, and movement begins to feel foreign. Even standing up every 30 to 60 minutes helps maintain this vital connection between brain and body. Walking in this sense becomes more than movement. It becomes a language. A language the body uses to say, I am still alive, in every sense of the word. If you observe elderly individuals who age gracefully, you will often notice this sign immediately. They may not walk fast, but they walk smoothly. Their steps are deliberate, not hesitant. Their bodies move as one unit, not as disconnected parts. And this quiet coordination predicts longevity more reliably than many numbers on a chart. But walking does not stand alone. It is only the first outward signal of a deeper inner strength. There is another sign just as simple, just as revealing, one that reflects not only physical resilience, but life force itself. It is found not in how you move forward, but in how firmly you can hold on. Sign 2. Strong grip strength means strong life force. There is another quiet sign doctors pay close attention to when assessing health after 70. It does not involve running. It does not require balance tests. It reveals itself in something almost invisible, the strength of your hands, grip strength. At first glance, it may seem too small to matter. After all, how could the strength of your hands say anything meaningful about how long you may live? But science has consistently shown something profound. Grip strength is closely linked to survival, independence, and lower mortality in older adults. In long-term studies, researchers noticed that people with stronger hand grip strength tended to live longer, recover better from illness, and remain independent far longer than those with weak grip strength. And once again, the reason is not mysterious. The hands are not isolated tools. They are connected to the entire muscular system. When grip strength weakens, it often signals overall muscle loss, a condition known as age-related muscle decline. This decline does not only affect the arms, it spreads quietly throughout the body. Muscle mass is more than physical power. It is protection. Strong muscles help prevent falls. They support posture. They stabilize joints. They assist circulation. They even support immune response during illness. When muscle mass declines too quickly, the body becomes fragile, not suddenly but gradually. Balance becomes uncertain. Recovery slows. Fatigue increases. And vulnerability quietly grows. This is why grip strength has become such a reliable indicator in geriatric medicine. A strong grip often reflects strong legs. Strong legs support steady walking. Strong walking preserves independence. And independence protects dignity, a powerful force for longevity. In simple terms, hand strength reflects total body strength. But beyond science, grip strength also tells a human story. Think about everyday moments. An elderly person lifting a warm cup of tea without trembling. Hands steady, relaxed, confident. Someone tending a small garden, gently gripping tools, feeling the soil moving with purpose. A grandparent holding a grandchild's hand, not loosely, not fearfully, but with calm presence. These are not just physical actions. They are expressions of life force. Hands that remain strong can still participate in life. They can cook, they can clean, they can create, they can connect. When hands weaken, life begins to shrink, not because the person wants less, but because the body allows less. And here is something deeply important to understand. Maintaining grip strength does not require heavy exercise. It does not demand strain or exhaustion. Gentle, consistent use is enough. Simple resistance, light and regular, sends a powerful message to the nervous system. Stay awake, stay engaged, stay alive. Squeezing a softball while sitting, opening and closing the hands slowly. Holding light objects with intention. Even ordinary household activities matter more than people realize. Washing dishes, folding clothes, cooking meals, watering plants. These actions quietly preserve muscle tone coordination and neural pathways. They keep the hands and the brain involved in life. This is why older adults who remain active in small, meaningful ways often appear stronger than those who rest too much. Too much rest weakens the body faster than age ever could. Grip strength, like walking speed, is not about force. It is about connection. Connection between brain and muscle, between intention and action, between the will to live and the ability to move. And just as importantly, grip strength reflects confidence. A person who trusts their hands tends to trust their body. They move with less fear. They engage with the world instead of withdrawing from it. Fear accelerates decline. Confidence slows it. When the hands remain capable, the mind feels safer. When the mind feels safer, the body functions better. This cycle, strength feeding confidence, confidence feeding strength, quietly supports longevity. But there is still another layer beneath physical signs. Walking speed shows how the body moves through space. Grip strength reveals how the body holds on to life. Yet there is a deeper predictor that science now recognizes as equally powerful, one that does not appear in muscles at all. It lives in the emotional world, because after 70, how you feel, regulate stress, and respond to change can shape your lifespan just as much as how strong your body is. This brings us to the next sign, one that often determines whether strength is sustained or slowly drained from within. Sign 3, emotional stability predicts longevity. There is a truth about aging that science is now confirming, but wisdom has known for centuries what shortens life. Fastest after 70 is not age itself. It is unresolved emotional strain. Chronic stress does not announce itself loudly. It settles quietly into the nervous system. It tightens the breath. It stiffens the body. It exhausts the immune defenses over time. Medical research has shown again and again that long-term emotional stress accelerates inflammation, weakens immunity, and increases the risk of heart disease, cognitive decline, and early mortality. In simple terms, a constantly alarmed nervous system ages the body faster than time ever could. But here is something deeply important to understand. People who live long lives are not happy all the time. They do not escape loss. They do not avoid disappointment. They do not live without pain. What makes them different is not happiness, it is emotional stability. They are calmer. They react less. They recover faster from emotional shocks. They do not carry resentment like a lifelong burden. They do not replay old conflicts endlessly in their minds. They do not live trapped in what should have been. This ability to regulate emotions, rather than suppress them, has profound biological effects. When emotions are regulated, stress hormones decrease, inflammation levels drop, blood pressure stabilizes, immune cells function more effectively. This is why scientists now recognize emotional regulation as a major predictor of longevity. A calm nervous system creates a healthier internal environment, and a healthier internal environment allows the body to repair itself more efficiently. You may notice this clearly in older adults who age well. They are not dramatic. They are not easily provoked. They do not argue to win. They listen more than they react. They pause before responding. They choose silence over conflict, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. There is often a quiet moment in their lives when something changes. An elderly person who once carried anger for decades finally lets it go. Not because the past was forgiven, but because carrying it became too heavy. Someone who once tried to control everyone around them slowly releases that need. They accept what they cannot change. They focus only on what keeps their inner world peaceful. This emotional shift is not philosophical alone. It is biological. Letting go reduces nervous system overload. Choosing peace lowers internal inflammation. Acceptance conserves energy the body desperately needs after 70. And here lies a powerful survival lesson. Peace is not weakness, it is survival wisdom. Anger activates stress pathways. Resentment keeps the body in a constant state of defense. Fear shortens breath and stiffens muscles. But calm signals safety. When the body feels safe, healing becomes possible. When the mind rests, immunity strengthens. When emotions stabilize, the heart works less desperately. This is why emotional stability predicts longevity more accurately than personality traits or intelligence scores. After 70, being clever matters less than being calm. Being right matters less than being at peace. You may have seen this yourself. An elderly person with modest education but a gentle temperament living steadily into old age. Another person highly intelligent but emotionally reactive, declining rapidly under stress. The difference is not fate, it is regulation. Emotional regulation is the body's way of conserving life force. It allows elders to sleep better, digest better, breathe deeper, recover faster from illness, and it protects the heart both physically and symbolically. Choosing peace does not mean avoiding life. It means responding wisely. It means knowing when to speak and when silence protects health, when to engage and when to step back, when to forgive, not for others but for the nervous system. After 70, emotional battles are expensive. They cost energy, sleep, immunity, and time. Those who live longer learn to stop paying that price. They stop asking, who is right, and start asking, is this worth my peace? This question alone can add years to a life. If this reflection resonates with you, gently leave a comment, number 1, below, not as an answer to me, but as a quiet reminder to yourself that peace is something you choose, not something you wait for. Because emotional stability does not arrive by chance. It grows from awareness, and awareness leads us naturally to the next sign, one that lives in the mind, not the emotions. After 70, longevity is not predicted by how much you know, but by how clearly and curiously your mind continues to engage with life. Sign 4. Memory, clarity, and curiosity matter more than IQ. After 70, the mind begins to reveal a quiet truth that science now understands clearly. Longevity is not protected by intelligence alone. It is protected by engagement. High IQ does not guarantee a healthy brain in old age. Sharp academic ability does not prevent cognitive decline by itself. What truly matters is something far more human and far more gentle. Memory clarity, curiosity, presence. Researchers studying brain aging have found that elderly individuals who stay mentally engaged, even in simple ways, experience slower cognitive decline and lower risk of dementia. The brain, much like the body, weakens when it is no longer used. But used does not mean pressure. It does not mean competition. It does not mean forcing the mind to perform. It means participation. Remembering details from daily life, asking small questions, paying attention to conversations, not drifting away mentally while the world moves on. An active mind is not a busy mind. It is a present one. Older adults who age well often share a common trait: they remain curious. They notice things, they ask why and how. They listen carefully instead of waiting to speak. They remember names, stories, and moments not perfectly but meaningfully. Science shows that this kind of mental engagement strengthens neural connections and preserves brain flexibility. It slows the shrinking of critical brain regions involved in memory and reasoning. Curiosity, in particular, acts as a powerful protective force. When curiosity is present, the brain remains open. It forms new pathways. It resists stagnation. Curiosity invites learning, not formal education, but lived learning. Reading a few pages each day, listening to stories, sharing memories, engaging in conversation with attention rather than habit. These activities stimulate memory retrieval and emotional processing at the same time, a combination that strengthens long-term brain health. One of the most beautiful signs of healthy aging is an elder who still tells stories. Not because they want to impress, but because their mind is still actively weaving past and present together. Storytelling keeps memory alive. Listening carefully keeps comprehension sharp. Even quiet attention, truly hearing another person, activates areas of the brain that support cognition and emotional regulation. This is why social engagement matters so deeply. Not large gatherings, not noise, but meaningful interaction. A conversation where someone feels heard. A moment where the mind stays present instead of withdrawing. And here is something science confirms clearly. Cognitive engagement protects against dementia more effectively than intelligence alone. A curious mind continues to adapt. A disengaged mind begins to close. This is not a judgment, it is a biological response. The brain follows what the mind chooses. When curiosity fades, mental pathways weaken. When learning stops, flexibility declines. But learning never truly ends unless we decide it does. After 70, learning becomes softer, slower, more personal. Learning how the weather feels today. Learning a new way to cook a familiar dish. Learning a grandchild's changing interests. These small acts signal to the brain that life is still unfolding. Curiosity tells the nervous system, I am still interested. I am still alive. I am still adapting. This mental stance protects memory far more than puzzles alone ever could. Puzzles help, reading helps, but interest sustains. A mind that cares stays awake. This is why elders who remain mentally present often age more gracefully than those who withdraw, even if they were once highly intelligent. Presence feeds cognition. Curiosity feeds presence. Together they form a shield against decline. And yet even the most engaged mind depends on something deeper, something foundational. Because without rest, clarity fades. Without restoration, curiosity dims. The brain does not age only from time, it ages from exhaustion. Which leads us gently to the next sign, one that quietly determines how well every system in the body repairs itself. Sign 5. Quality sleep predicts life length. As the years pass, one truth becomes increasingly clear: sleep is no longer a luxury. After 70, it becomes medicine. Modern science now confirms what the body has always known. Poor sleep significantly increases the risk of illness and early mortality in older adults. It weakens the immune system. It accelerates cognitive decline. It increases inflammation and cardiovascular strain. But the issue is not simply how long you sleep. It is how deeply you sleep. After 70, deep restorative sleep becomes more valuable than hours spent half awake. Long sleep without depth does not heal. Fragmented sleep does not restore. True rest happens when the nervous system fully releases its grip. During deep sleep, the brain clears waste. Neural connections are repaired. Hormones are balanced. Immune cells are renewed. This is why sleep is often called the body's repair time, a quiet, invisible process that sustains life from within. Regular rhythm matters just as much as duration. A consistent bedtime trains the nervous system to relax on cue. Irregular sleep confuses the body. It keeps stress hormones elevated and healing delayed. Older adults who maintain steady sleep patterns tend to recover better from illness and maintain sharper mental clarity. Sleep is not passive, it is active restoration. The body does its deepest healing when the mind finally rests. And yet many elders struggle with sleep, not because the body cannot rest, but because the mind remains unsettled. Worry delays sleep. Late meals burden digestion. Artificial light disrupts natural rhythms. But small, gentle adjustments can restore harmony. A fixed bedtime signals safety to the nervous system. Avoiding heavy meals late allows the body to focus on rest rather than digestion. Exposure to natural light during the day helps reset the internal clock. These are not rigid rules. They are invitations to alignment. When sleep improves, everything else follows. Mood stabilizes. Memory sharpens. Immunity strengthens. Sleep does not just preserve life, it supports dignity. An elder who sleeps well wakes with steadiness. Their movements are calmer. Their emotions are less reactive. This is why sleep predicts life length more reliably than many medications. It reflects the body's ability to restore itself. And perhaps most importantly, good sleep signals peace. A body that can rest deeply is a body that feels safe. Good sleep is the body's quiet medicine. It works without drama, without noise, without force. It heals simply by allowing life to pause and renew. But sleep alone is not enough. Humans are not meant to heal in isolation. Even the most rested body needs connection, not constant, not overwhelming, but balanced. This brings us gently to the next sign, one that shapes emotional health, immune strength, and longevity in equal measure. Sign 6. Social connection without overattachment. Human beings are social by nature, and science is very clear about one thing. Prolonged isolation shortens life. Loneliness increases the risk of heart disease. It weakens immunity. It accelerates cognitive decline. It quietly drains the will to live. And yet there is another truth that is just as important and far less discussed. After 70, too much emotional dependence can be just as harmful as isolation. The elders who live longest tend to find a delicate balance. They connect, but they do not cling. They enjoy company, but they are not emotionally dependent on it. This balance is a form of quiet strength. Healthy elders maintain relationships without losing themselves in them. They can sit at a shared table and enjoy conversation, and they can return home and rest peacefully in solitude. They do not fear being alone. They do not fear being with others. They are emotionally grounded. Science shows that balanced social bonds protect both the heart and the brain. Supportive relationships lower stress hormones. They reduce inflammation. They stabilize mood and cognition. But over-attachment, the need for constant reassurance, constant presence, constant emotional stimulation, places strain on the nervous system. It creates anxiety. It creates disappointment. It creates fear of abandonment. These emotional pressures quietly exhaust the body. This is why the longest living elders often appear calm in their relationships. They do not demand attention. They do not control. They do not depend emotionally on others for stability. They connect freely without expectation. You may notice this in quiet conversations. Not loud, not dramatic, but meaningful. A shared meal enjoyed slowly. Words exchanged without urgency. Laughter that comes naturally, not forced. And just as important, peaceful solitude. Time alone that feels nourishing, not empty. Silence that restores rather than frightens. This balance allows the nervous system to remain regulated. Connection without noise. Solitude without loneliness. Longevity does not require constant social activity. It requires emotional safety. When elders feel emotionally secure within themselves, relationships become supportive rather than draining. They no longer seek validation. They no longer fear distance. They remain open without attachment. This emotional independence increases resilience. It allows elders to adapt to changes in social circles, health and family dynamics without losing inner stability. And this stability protects the body. Because stress does not only come from conflict, it also comes from emotional dependency. A heart that depends too heavily on others beats anxiously. A mind that fears separation never fully rests. But a grounded heart can connect without tension. This is why science increasingly recognizes the quality of social bonds, not just their quantity, as a predictor of longevity. One meaningful conversation matters more than many shallow interactions. One shared moment matters more than constant presence. Longevity needs connection, not noise. If this reflection resonates with you, gently press the like button, not as a gesture to this video, but as a small commitment to valuing calm, balanced connection in your own life. Because there is still one final sign, perhaps the most powerful of all. It does not live in the body alone. It does not live in relationships alone. It lives in meaning. And science now confirms what wisdom has always known: a clear sense of purpose can extend life itself. Sign 7. Sense of purpose extends life. There is one final sign that science has identified as a powerful predictor of longevity after 70. It is not found in muscles. It is not found in sleep patterns. It is not found in social habits alone. It lives quietly in the reason you wake up each morning: a sense of purpose. Long-term studies across different cultures have shown a consistent result. Older adults who feel their lives still have meaning tend to live longer and recover better from illness. Purpose reduces mortality risk. Motivation strengthens immune response. Hope stabilizes the nervous system. This is not poetry, it is biology. Purpose does not mean chasing big dreams or ambitious goals. After 70, purpose becomes simpler and far more powerful. It means feeling needed. It means knowing that your presence still matters. For some, purpose is caring for a small garden, watering plants each morning, watching something grow because of your attention. For others, it is teaching grandchildren, not formally, but through stories, patience, and example. Some find purpose in helping others quietly, cooking a meal, listening without interrupting, offering wisdom without insisting. These acts may seem small, but to the body they are life signals. When the mind feels needed, the body responds. Scientific research shows that purpose activates motivation pathways in the brain. These pathways support immune function, hormone balance, and stress regulation. In simple terms, purpose gives the body a reason to survive. When life still needs you, the body listens. An elder with purpose stands up more easily. They move with intention. They recover faster. This is why elders who maintain roles, however modest, often outlive those who withdraw. Withdrawal tells the body that its work is done. Purpose tells the body to stay engaged. Purpose also protects mental health. It reduces depression. It anchors identity. It prevents the quiet erosion that comes from feeling invisible. Purpose is not about achievement. It is about contribution. It is the quiet satisfaction of being useful not to the world, but to life itself. And purpose evolves. What mattered at 40 may no longer matter at 80. But something always remains: a conversation, a responsibility, a presence. Purpose does not demand energy, it creates it. Elders with purpose wake up differently. They rise with direction, not urgency. They move gently but with intention. This intention nourishes the nervous system. It calms fear. It aligns mind and body. Purpose is not pressure. It is permission to continue. When an elder believes their life still has meaning, they unconsciously protect it. They eat better. They sleep more deeply. They engage more fully. The body responds to belief. This is why purpose is one of the strongest predictors of longevity, stronger even than some physical markers, because it touches everything: mind, body, emotion, spirit. And as we reach the end of these 7 signs, a deeper truth emerges. Aging is not a slow disappearance. It is a transformation. When movement remains steady, hands remain strong, emotions remain calm, the mind stays curious, sleep restores deeply, connections remain balanced, and purpose remains alive. Life does not shrink, it concentrates, which brings us to a final reflection, one that reframes everything we think we know about growing older. Final reflection: aging is not a decline. After 70, many people believe life becomes a matter of luck. Luck with health, luck with memory, luck with time. But what science and lived wisdom quietly reveals is something far more hopeful. Aging after 70 is not random. It is not a sudden fall from strength into weakness. It is not a silent surrender. It is a conversation. Every day the body sends signals, not loud warnings but gentle messages. Messages in how you move, how you rest, how you feel, how you connect, how you wake up to the day. Longevity is not decided in one dramatic moment. It is shaped in thousands of small, ordinary ones. A steady walk instead of fear. Hands that still engage with life. A calm response where anger once lived. A curious mind that remains open. Sleep that restores instead of fragments. Connections that nourish without draining. A purpose, however, quiet that gives the day meaning. These are not demands. They are signals. Signals that tell the body I am still here. I am still adapting. I am still worth sustaining. Aging in this light is not a decline. It is a refinement. Life narrows its focus. Energy becomes more precious. What truly matters comes forward. What drains us falls away. This is not loss. It is wisdom taking shape. Even small changes today can shape many tomorrows. A few minutes of walking, a calmer breath during tension, one habit that supports sleep, one moment of curiosity, one act of quiet contribution. These choices do not shout, they whisper, and the body listens. If this message spoke to you, take a quiet moment now. Not to judge, not to compare, but simply to notice. Which of these signs do you already carry? Which ones are quietly asking for attention? Awareness itself is a form of care. If you feel this reflection could help someone you love, consider sharing it gently without urgency as an invitation to pause and reflect. And if you wish to continue walking this path of calm insight, we invite you to subscribe to Golden Leaf Path, a space where science, wisdom, and lived experience meet without noise, without pressure, and without fear. May your steps remain steady. May your nights be restorative. May your days hold meaning, even in the smallest moments. Thank you for being here. And until we meet again, walk gently, breathe deeply, and trust the quiet signals of life.